welcome back to the Game Smash Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Room Liberty, and with me is...
Fawwaz Muhammad Yusuf.
And today we got some stuff. We got Nioh DLC and Season Pass announced. We've got Overwatch, a new character on the horizon. A lot of speculation, but we've got some stuff to talk about in that category. We've got Injustice 2 trailer. We've got Mass Effect Combat trailer Part 2. And then finally, we've got Deus Ex Mankind Divided, A Criminal Past DLC. But before we get into that, let's talk about what we played this week. So I played some more Darkest Dungeon. Continued with that. I've been getting farther. I beat my second boss. I got really, really annoyed because one of my top characters was a bandit who I called McCree. And I was so annoyed because I was doing a boss run, and like before I can even get to the boss, everyone was like specifically shooting at him and dealing damage to him. Like nobody else was getting targeted except for this one guy. And I'm like, there are 3 other people in my party. Why are you aiming specifically for him? And of course he died.
Check the time?
Sorry?
Did you check the time?
Check the time?
Yeah, because maybe it was high noon, and that's why.
There we go. That's probably what it was. That's probably what it was.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help.
You know what? I walked myself into that. So I can't even lie. But of course he died, and then I got really salty. But then I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna go see if I can fight the boss with only 3 out of my 4 party members.
What?
And somehow I did. I was able to beat the boss.
Wow.
Honestly, it really wasn't that hard of a boss. The boss's gimmick was it was a necromancer, right? And the boss's gimmick was he would summon a skeleton after every attack, right? But the thing is that my group, my 3 remaining guys were still strong enough that I could kill the skeleton on my turn, and I had a really powerful crossbow character who was dealing massive damage no matter how many skeletons he could throw in front of him. It didn't matter because my crossbow character could just hit him from afar. So, and I named my crossbow character Eileen the Crow. So,
Hey.
So I've been having fun. With that. And then I went back and played some more Binding of Isaac. Really, really good game. Really fun. Just for an update. Which will kind of tie to the question of the day. So finally, I was able to get to some time and actually start recording some content of my own.
Hey.
So you might be seeing some Binding of Isaac's videos sort of pop up on the channel over the next couple of days. So if you enjoy that and if you think that's kind of fun, let me know. And I can continue it. Because my goal is to try and fight the 3rd final boss. There's like a secret boss. I don't know exactly how to get to it, but I'm gonna try. So if you like the content, then just send me a comment, and if you want to see more, I will gladly make more. But that's basically what I played this week. I popped back into Overwatch, mostly just to practice. I had a surprisingly decent game with Bastion, which doesn't usually happen.
Getting ready for that new patch. I've heard some horror stories from people that play on PC.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Remember how I mentioned a couple podcasts ago that they gave him that ironclad passive that gave him a 35% damage reduction?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a problem. It's like right now on the PTR, it's a problem. He doesn't die. Because keep in mind that he has a 35% damage mitigation, which in itself is insane when you think about it. But then you add in the fact that he can heal for 75 health per second, and that healing can't be interrupted by damage. Then you added the fact that this is Bastion by himself. This isn't Bastion being pocketed by Mercy or Ana or even Zenyatta.
Yeah.
And because think about it, a Bastion with a Harmony Orb on him is healing for 100 health per second that cannot be interrupted, in addition to having 35% damage mitigation.
Holy moly, this is gonna be interesting if that hits.
Yeah. But let's not even get into that because I could do a podcast on that by itself. So, okay, so Overwatch. Yeah, you told me that you had a really good game on Bastion. That doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah, no, I was playing on Oasis, and I backfilled the team, and we somehow came back from a 1 loss round to 2 rounds won.
Look
So
at Tana
uh,
MVPing it up.
I was honestly pretty. I think because you know what ends up happening. I find when you're playing quick play, one of the other kind of strategies I have is like, okay, I'm playing this character. It's not working. It's not necessarily bad for my team comp, but the character's not working. You know, like it's just
Yeah.
not working for me. So what I usually do is that I like switching to a different character that they don't expect because then they have to deal with a completely different hero all of a sudden, and then their whole plan of like strategy they have to adapt on the fly. And there's a lot of people that they can't really adapt on the fly very well. So when I backfilled for Bastion, I'm pretty sure they didn't expect that, and that's part of the reason why we were able to take that round. Because they didn't have a Genji, they didn't have anyone, they didn't have like a soldier or anything like that. So it was like Reaper, like Roadhog and stuff like that, and it was just easy pickings at that point. So,
Ah.
but yeah, no, lots of fun. Been playing that. That's basically what I did this week. What about you, Fawwaz?
Okay, so I finally bit the bullet and I bought Nioh.
Nice.
Well, it was actually buying Nioh itself was a journey because I sit down for the week and my reading week was this week. Well, last week by the time you hear this, I'm deciding whether or not I should buy Nioh and then on Sunday I finally decide. So after I think me and you we finished playing some Overwatch, I got up and I went out to the store because there's a microplay right next to where I live. So I go out and I'm like, hey, do you guys have Nioh? They're like, nope, sold out. I'm like, oh, okay. They're like, yeah, come back on Tuesday. So, because Monday was a public holiday.
Yeah.
And I come in on Tuesday and I'm like, do you guys have Nioh? They're like, nope, still sold out. Come back on Friday. I'm like, Friday? That's the end of my reading week. So at that point, I was like, I'm never going to. Then I called a bunch of different stores and none of them had it. So the game was completely sold out. So I had to buy it digital. I had to break my moral code and
Yeah.
buy digital. But I'm glad I did. The game's a lot of fun. The first thing I want to say is that yeah, obviously Dark Souls comparisons, but I actually feel like the Dark Souls comparisons are kind of unfair because
Mm-hmm.
okay, how Bloodborne is like Dark Souls brother.
Yeah.
There's a lot of similar. There's slight differences, but at the end of the day, it's I mean it's the same game. I transitioned from Bloodborne to Dark Souls really easily.
Mm-hmm.
There's slight differences, like you can't regain health, but more so than not, it's the same game. I think Neo is more of a distant cousin.
Yeah.
If Bloodborne is Dark Souls' younger brother, I'd say Neo is like his Eastern his
Eastern cousin, twice removed.
Yeah. Because the DNA is the same.
Mm-hmm.
You've got your stamina. You have your quote unquote bonfires. When you die, you lose all your quote unquote souls, and then if you die twice, you don't get those souls back. But and then the game is difficult. Well, it's not even difficult. The enemies just do a lot of damage. Um, but I think that's Dark Souls too. So whatever. But I think that's where the similarities end for the most part. Like the
Mm-hmm.
combat system is a lot deeper.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot deeper, and it all starts off. Oh, okay. Well, first of all, the game even starts off easier. So right out the gate, it has that going for it over Dark Souls. Right. The
Right.
first 3 hours or so were actually pretty easy for me. I didn't die until 3 hours in. The first area is it's like mind-numbingly easy, and the
Mm-hmm.
first boss is a tutorial. They're teaching you how to use the
Yeah.
different mechanics and stuff like that, which I appreciated. I mean, obviously for me, I don't care as much now because I'm more acclimated to these kind of games. But I do think that was a good call on their part because
Mm-hmm.
that was one thing with the first Dark Souls and Bloodborne. That was what steered me away from Bloodborne. That the first area was so unbelievably difficult that I was like, whatever, I don't care.
Well, it's good thing you point that out. Is that like part of the thing is that when you're playing like a From Software game back to back to back, like you go from like Dark Souls 2 to Bloodborne to Dark Souls 3, you kind of know to a certain extent how it's gonna go, and you have a familiarity with it. So even areas that would be really hard for newcomers, like people who've had no experience playing those games, are gonna be just a breeze
Yeah.
for you. Whereas I do appreciate that with a game like Nioh, because they clearly know that there are a lot of people who have played the Dark Souls and Bloodborne games that are going to be jumping over to this to give it a shot, not to just completely just throw them into the deep end and go, okay, here you go, have fun, you know. Let them get their feet wet for a bit in some easier levels in the beginning, and then you can really test their mettle later on.
Yeah. Yeah, so in that sense that's pretty cool. But then yeah, to talk about the combat, the combat, you start playing and it's like, oh, this is Dark Souls, right? Then they introduce this thing called Key Pulse, where if you
Mm-hmm.
press R1 at the right moment after you do an attack, you regain some of your lost stamina. So similar to like the active reload from Gears of War,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
Um, so then you're like, okay, this is pretty cool. But yeah, you're like, this is pretty cool, but it doesn't seem very useful because you do your combo, you keep pulse, and then you have to dodge too, right? So then you realize that you can unlock an ability that lets your dodge actually be your key pulse. So you can do your combo, and then as you're about to counter attack, you dodge, you regain your stamina while avoiding damage. You're like, wow, this is pretty useful. Then they introduce another mechanic that you can unlock, where if you do your combo and you switch stances, because you know how the stances, right? If you do your
yeah.
combo and then you switch stances, it regenerates even more key pulse. And then there's another mechanic where if you do your combo and then you switch weapons, it regenerates key pulse.
Mm-hmm.
So then you can do some really, really cool, flashy stuff. I'm not sure how useful this stuff is, if I'm being completely honest, but you can do some pretty flashy stuff, switching between stances and weapons. And at the very least, this game actually allows you to combo, which is something that you couldn't do in Dark Souls.
Yeah, like it's something that was a lot more difficult to do in Dark Souls.
Yeah, there's actual complex combos in this.
Yeah.
And yeah, and this is just in like my first 4 or 5 hours. I'm still scratching the surface. There's still like the spirit animals. To be honest, it can get a little overwhelming because there's so many different things. There's magic, there's ninjutsus. I did the same thing. No, yeah, you see, I'm not for sure. Yeah, there's magic. It's like I forget what it's called, but I'm just gonna call it magic. And then there's jutsus, which is like you can get like shurikens and poison for your weapons. So there's all that stuff. Then there's different weapons and there's different stances for every weapon. Then you have the spirits, which are like your Nimpo from Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah.
And each spirit gives you passive bonuses in addition to when you activate the spirit, it gives you active bonuses. So there's a lot of depth. There's a lot of depth here. I'm still trying to figure out what is actual depth and what's superfluous. It's just there to make the game more complicated for the sake of being complicated. But so far, so good. I'm feeling the game. One thing I'm not feeling is the level design, though. There's they reuse a lot of assets. Like I'm only a few hours in, and they reuse a lot of assets. Because you beat a stage and then there's like a side mission, but the side mission is set in the same area, and then.
So it's a lot. I'm still here. So it's a lot of Oh, okay, sorry. It's a lot of like There's a couple of like missions where it's like it's this kind of retreading like areas we've already explored, and it's kind of okay, I see.
And then on top of that, they do this stupid thing where you fight. Like it's happened enough already where I'm like that. Okay, I hope this isn't going to be a pattern, because like you fight. There's like you're fighting on this on like the edge of a mountain, right? And then it's like, okay, but then I can't dodge efficiently here because if I dodge too crazy, I roll off the edge. Or you're fighting next to a pool of water, next to like an ocean, and then if you roll. If you roll too aggressively, you roll off the edge and you die, and stuff like that just feels cheap to me. So I'm not feeling that. But all in all, man, I'm glad I bought the game. The game's a lot of fun. I was actually playing it when Tana called me and was like, "Hey, it's podcast time, Jack." Oh, funny story about that. So I text this comedian at like 11 o'clock, and I'm like, "Are we gonna film the podcast at 12 today?" And then he texts me at 12:30, and he's like, "That no, we're filming it at 1." I'm like, "Oh really, Tana? Oh really?" When we did start filming at 12, I kind of deduced that myself. But thanks for clearing that up.
Okay, to be fair, I woke up at like 11:45, took a shower, had breakfast, and then I checked my phone at like around that time and went, "Oh."
Yeah, because at the time you sent me the text, I wasn't even at home. I was out running errands, and I was like, "All right, well, there you go."
God,
But
yeah.
it actually it's a lot of fun. And one cool thing, like I'm really excited. The depth of the combat really has me excited for PvP, which conveniently ties into our first bit of news.
Yeah.
How's that for a segue?
Oh yeah, solid segue.
Yeah, so they've announced their DLC plan. So we're getting high difficulty missions, which is hilarious because the game is pretty damn difficult already. I actually just beat a boss that gave me heart pains. Like, I'm not kidding. I was so nervous towards the end of that boss battle that when I finished the boss battle, my heart was actually hurting. But anyway, they announced that in late March, they're releasing high difficulty missions. These are going to be free, by the way. It's 10 types of missions, including missions that will feel like boss rushes. And then in late April, they're implementing PvP. Now, I'm more excited for the PvP stuff because, like I said, the combat system is really cool and it's really deep. However, the issue that PvP always introduces is that that's when you start to realize the imbalances between certain weapons.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you're sitting there, you're like, wow, this Kurashigama is really badass and it's really cool and it's really powerful. And then you play against someone that has realized that the dual sword is, you know, hypothetically speaking, the most powerful weapon in the game. And then you're like, this Kurashigama is kind of garbage, and the dual sword is kind of bullshit. However, they said that they've been working on the PvP for a while now, so you know it's not just going to be tacked on. So I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see what these new missions are going to be, and hats off to them for adding new stuff for free. Now, in addition to that, we're also getting actual paid DLC. It's called Dragon of Tohoku. It will launch in late April, and it will add the following content: new weapon types, which is cool because there's only four actual weapon types in the game, right?
Yeah.
Now, you know, you have like axes and hammers, but they both have the exact same move list. You know, there's only four: swords, axes, kurashigama, and spears.
Right.
So new weapon types is exciting. Hopefully, we get like nunchucks. New scenarios. So I'm guessing this just means new like stages, new characters, new guardian spirits, which is going to be cool, new yokai, because that's another issue with the game right now. Is there's not a lot of enemy types. There's a lot of recycling of enemy types, and new stages, which is also cool because, like I said, so then the second DLC is called Japan's Best Soldier, and the third will be Peaceful and Tranquil. All of these will be so blah 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 blah. Anyway, they released a cool image of the new DLC, and it's of some dude wearing some cool armor, wielding dual swords. And the real kicker here is that he has a dragon spirit behind him. So that pretty much all but confirms that one of the new guardian spirits we're getting is going to be the dragon. So yeah, fun stuff. But yeah, how do you feel about this DLC?
Honestly, it looks pretty good. I do know that the guy that who is on the cover, I think is I'm not sure exactly, but I think his name is Masamune, and he's actually I think he's actually based on or is a very famous warrior in Japanese culture. So that might be interesting. Like I was reading a little more into the article, and they're talking about like he's probably not going to be like a boss. He'll probably be like an ally to your character.
Okay.
So I'm very curious about that. Because that's the thing that's usually in these, like, I've never seen a game where it's goes like, okay, here's a new ally to your cause. Like, usually in these types of games, whether it be like Nioh, Bloodborne, or whatnot, it's like, here's a new boss that's gonna kick your ass. You know, like that. So I'm actually kind of excited because, you know, that I'm interested to see how they are going to do DLC. You know, obviously in comparison to how Dark Souls does DLC and how other games do DLC. So I am curious. I really hope that they do a good job. Honestly, they're adding free content, which is pretty nice. Overall, everything about this game, I think they've just done a really solid job of like planning this game out. You know, just really effectively and not like alienating way. So I have to give them props for that.
Yeah, that's actually another point that I wanted to bring up is that, you know, I don't want to spend too much time talking about this because we have other stuff to do, but I feel like they've tried their best to appeal to a lot of different play styles. Because, you know, like if there's this thing called familiarity, right? The more you use a weapon, the more familiar you become with it and the more bonuses it gets. Right?
Yeah.
right? One weapon, you can do that, max out the familiarity, and then there's this other thing called like it's like soul matching, where you can use because like the weapon eventually gets out leveled by other weapons that you find.
Mm-hmm.
But you can take another weapon. Say you have this weapon and it's level 5, and then you have a level 20 weapon. You can soul match the level 20 weapon to the level 5 weapon. It'll increase the level of that your level 5 weapon and become a level 20 weapon, and you never have to switch. But on the flip side, if you do like switching between different weapons, and this is one thing that this game I feel does better than Dark Souls, is that it's Bloodborne actually, because this was one thing I hated about Bloodborne. That this game actually encourages you to use different weapons, because sure, your stats do matter, and whatever you're building will affect the weapons, but you get different bonuses for just like trying out, for just experimenting. You get, the game encourages you to experiment, and I appreciate that. Overall, man, it's a really fun game. I'm glad I bought it, and I'm excited I'm excited for the DLC.
Yeah.
But my excitement for the DLC pales in comparison to my excitement for the potentially new character that we're getting in Overwatch. So this has been a bit of a journey, right?
A bit.
A little while ago, Jeff Goodman comes out and he says, no, not Jeff Goodman. What am I saying?
What are you saying? I was like, I thought you were making a joke. It's Jeff Kaplan. Learn the lore. Jesus.
Yeah. Sorry, my bad, Jeff. So Jeff comes out and he says, because we've always talked about Doomfist is going to be the next hero. So then Jeff comes out and he says that Hero 24 is not who you think it is. So then everybody's like that, oh shit, could we have been wrong this whole time? Could it be someone other than Doomfist? Then last week or 2 weeks, whatever, on the 21st of February, they released a blog post, an interview with inventor Effie Oladele, which is a really cool West African name. It's actually a Yoruba name, which is where my mother is from. So I was excited for this. She's an 11-year-old genius from Numbani, and is talking about how she has some new stuff that she's invented that she really wants to share with us, right? So then, obviously, there were a couple people who thought that this was the new character, and I was like, no, Blizzard is not going to add an 11-year-old to a game and have McCree flashbang and headshot her. There's few things I am sure of in this life.
But that is one of them.
It's not going to let us kill an 11-year-old game. Not in a T-rated game, anyway.
Yeah.
So after this leaked, and then, after Blizzard released this, and Jeff Kaplan said what he said, people went back to a leak from early January, January 9th, I think, where someone came out and he said that there's some stuff that Blizzard is doing this year, and this is it. He was like, first of all, we're going to have a Lunar New Year event. Expect new skins to celebrate the year of the rooster, including the dope Keep Pow skin for May. A new origin story for May, and most importantly, a new character called Ancora. And he was like, contrary to speculation, Doomfist is not up next. Keep in mind, this leaked before Jeff Kaplan said what he said, right?
Yeah.
The upcoming character is a female Omnic quadruped, codenamed Ancora. In order to balance out the tank roster, the game needs another tank that acts as an anchor, like Reinhardt. Shit name, I know. Ancora hails from Numbani and has a West African accent, right? Mm-hmm. So then somebody went in and looked back at the Sombra cinematic, from when she was announced, not the boop cinematic, the origin video. And there's a moment where she does like her palm, and there's a big web of like different connections, and they circled out that there's a connection between Numbani, Doomfist, and an image. Auto-play websites, good God. Sorry for that. There's a connection between, because I was bringing up the image, a connection between the Numbani logo, Doomfist, and in between the two of them was an image, which at the time we just brushed off as, like concept art.
Yeah, but
if you look at the image, it is a robotic spider, right?
Right.
Then, but all of this is speculation. Then, on the, whatever, I can't remember the dates, on Friday, on the 24th of February, Blizzard released a news article. It's like, breaking news: OR-15 defense units destroyed in confrontation with unidentified assailant at Numbani Airport. Now, the OR-15 thing is important because in in Effie Oladele's blog post, she spoke about how she'd like to create a robot that's similar to the OR-15. Just keep that in mind. It's like no civilian casualties reported. Then they posted an image of the Numbani airport, the spawn room of the attackers, completely destroyed, with the robots smashed into something smashed this robot into the wall with a lot of strength, right? Then on the PTR, Blizzard updated the PTR, and the actual attacker's spawn currently on PTR has been updated. It's been completely wrecked. And then finally, the icing on the cake, if you go to the payload on Numbani, Doomfist is gone.
The fist is gone.
Oh my god. My heart can't take any more hype. So anyway, right now, there's a couple of different theories going around right now. One is that Ancora, or whoever the next hero is going to be a precursor to Doomfist, and this hero is going to work with Talon to attack Numbani. We're going to get a new short, and this hero is going to work with Talon to attack Numbani and successfully retrieve Doomfist, thus setting us up for the eventual reveal of Doomfist, who I think we're going to get in May. However, some people believe that we're getting two heroes, because Jeff didn't say we're not getting Doomfist. He said Hero 24 is not who you think it is. So what some people are saying is that Hero 24 is going to be Ancora or whatever, and then Hero 25 is going to be Doomfist, and we're getting both at the same time. I don't think this is very likely. And then the final theory is that Talon get Doomfist, and then Hero 24, Winston asks Ancora, or Winston asks Effie Oyadele to give us a new hero to help with the retrieval of Doomfist. So those are the three theories right now. What do you think about this, Tanner? I need a break because I'm getting a headache from all the hype.
It's pretty crazy. Personally, my favorite theory is that what happened in the airport was Mercy power boosted Lucio, and he did his boop attack. And this is going to lead to a Mercy cinematic trailer. I read that, and I was like, I love everything about this comment.
Oh my god.
But for seriousness, I think it's all really, really cool. I like how they're building the hype and they're making little changes to the maps and stuff like that. I actually kind of like that, how you get little hints through map changes, right? And I'm glad that this is how we're getting, I'm glad that this is how we're getting hyped up and intrigue and stuff like that, rather than how they dealt with Sombra. And I'm glad that they learned their lesson. So I really hope, and this is a big deal, we're getting all this crazy theories and information and whatnot, right? I really do hope we get the reveal soon, Because I don't want we're just sitting there twiddling our thumbs going, okay, when's the next character, and then just all the theories go all over the place. Honestly, the one thing that I thought was kind of interesting is that even though I don't think it's going to happen, I would really like to see a May cinematic. I really would. And if it was in that kind of style of cinematic, that would be actually really entertaining, and I would really like to see that. But honestly, I'm really, really am curious who's going to be next, whether it be Doomfist or Ancora. Ancora, for some reason, I'm a little more intrigued in some ways for Ancora, because Ancora, if it's to believe that some of the images of Ancora are true, she's enormous compared to some of the other heroes, right? So I'm very curious of how that's going to play. Because I think at least from the concept art, it says she looks bigger than like Diva or like Winston. Which is enormous, and I'm very curious if that character actually becomes a thing or not. But yeah, no, obviously I'm really, really intrigued, and I just hope with all my heart that they don't drag this out.
If I had to guess, with how much teasing we got last week, because we got the Effie Oyadele blog post on Tuesday, then we got the Twitter post on Friday, and then the PTR patch on Friday. If I had to guess, and judging from how they've handled every hero not named Sombra, we're getting something next week. We're probably not getting the hero, but I think we're probably getting a trailer for the hero next week, and then they'll probably release the hero on the PTR on Tuesday. Then we'd probably get the hero like early March, maybe first week of March, because next week Tuesday is the 28th of February. So I think it'll be the next week. So the 7th of March will probably be when we get the hero. That's my guess, but I'm almost 100% sure it's either going to be next week or the week after. Like, in fact, I'll be very surprised if we don't get something concrete next week. Concept art, an actual like origin trailer, maybe the actual short, maybe everything. But I think for sure this time, when we're recording our next podcast, we're going to know who the hero is. I think because Blizzard themselves came out and they said that they've learned from the Sombra thing, and they're going to keep things closer and release things closer to their start teasing heroes closer to their release. So I think we're getting the hero. We're getting concrete information about the hero next week. So mark your calendars. Tuesday the 28th of February should be a good day for Overwatch fans.
I am excited though. I am excited. I don't know whether I don't know. I keep flipping over whether or not I want Terry Crews to voice Doomfist.
I don't want Terry Crews to voice Doomfist.
But the dank memes.
No, we're good. Overwatch has enough dank memes in it as it currently is. One thing actually one thing of note, right, is that like, and I don't know if I mentioned this on the podcast yet. The main reason why I don't want Terry Crews as Doomfist, other than the dank memes, because I'd rather not have any dank memes. Is that the first Doomfist was Kenyan? At least I think he was Kenyan from his name. The second Doomfist was Nigerian. So like. I as a West African have not had a lot of representation in video games, period. Like, so I would really, really, really like for Doomfist or Ancora, because like the rumor with Ancora is that she's a robot, but she's a robot with a West African accent, because Effie Oyadele is like 100%. She's Numbani, which is, a fictional African country, but the character itself is based on West African culture. So So the rumor is that, Ancora is going to have a West African accent, which I will settle for, even if she's not straight up speaking like Yoruba or Hausa, which are like traditional Nigerian languages. I'll settle for just someone with a West African accent, to be honest.
Fair enough.
But the main thing for me is that, and this was before Ancora was announced, is that I was hoping that Doomfist was going to be Nigerian, right? So for me, if Terry Crews voices Doomfist, one of two things have happened, neither of which is good for me. Either Doomfist is another is just an African American character, which is fine. I have no qualms against African American characters, but I'd still be disappointed. Or Doomfist is Nigerian and they're gonna get Terry Crews to do a fake Nigerian accent, which quite frankly I'm sick of. I've had enough of Americans doing fake African accents. So yeah, personally I really hope that's not the case. But we shall see.
We shall see. But our next article, we got Injustice 2. We got another trailer. Looks pretty awesome. And they showed off, obviously Batman and Superman. They're at it again. All those rapscallions.
Yeah, but they also revealed Cyborg. Now, to be fair, everyone knew Cyborg was going to be in this. He's a member of the Justice League in the comic book. He's going to be in the Justice League movie that's coming out next year. They've been giving Cyborg a pretty big push, so this is not a surprise, but it's still nice to see. I think we spoke about how we liked the Teen Titans and we hoped we saw more of them.
Hell yeah.
And sure, Cyborg is currently a member of the Justice League, and I think he's going to be a member of the Justice League for the foreseeable future, but Cyborg will always be a Teen Titan to me.
Yeah.
He'll always be a Teen Titan first before he's a member of the Justice League.
I'm just getting nostalgic, all of those booyahs from the show.
Yeah, I think in the first Injustice, he actually said booyah. I can't remember what circumstances led to it, but he said it. Now, in terms of the actual trailer, it follows up from the end of the first Injustice, because there's an alternate reality Superman who loses his mind after the Joker tricks him into killing Lois Lane and his unborn son. So he decides that, this whole truth, justice, and the American way thing is kind of not working, and he does like a more iron-fisted, I forget what they're called. I forget what his organization was called.
Or something
like that.
Is it regime or something like
Yeah,
that?
regime. Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. So anyway, at the end, and one thing I loved about the storyline was that because people always have this stupid Batman versus Superman argument, who would win in an actual fight, and I'm like, you guys must have lost your goddamn minds. Like, do you understand what faster than a speeding bullet actually means? So anyway, what I loved about the Injustice storyline was that it showed what I've always said is that if Superman actually went genuinely bad, the only thing that could stop him is Superman, which is exactly what Batman did. He summons our Superman to that universe, and our Superman beats that Superman. Then they keep him in a jail cell with the red sun's rays. So anyway, judging from this trailer, he breaks out, and as we all expected, he breaks out, and I'm guessing the regime comes back. So I'm curious to see where the story is going to go. I'm curious to see how they're going to handle the story. But all in all, it looks pretty cool. Cyborg looks cool. Unfortunately, he was only revealed in the story trailer. We didn't get actual gameplay of him, so we can't give our impressions. But fun stuff.
I just want to point out that I really like that. I like this. I like that they got like the right voice actors for these kind of roles, and I also like seeing I always have a big smile on my face when I hear Kevin Conroy, because Kevin Conroy is my definitive Batman in my opinion.
It's most people's definitive Batman.
And I don't know the voice actor's name, but the voice actor who plays Superman, I think he's played Superman in a lot of different roles. I think it's the same one from Justice League, the animated show. I think. Yeah. I'm not sure, but it does sound very similar. And he also does a bang up job as Superman. So I just wanted to give shout outs to those two in particular, because I really like their voices.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That's one thing that DC does really well. They use a lot of the same people, like Kevin Conroy, Mark Hamill. They've been using Mark Hamill for over 2 decades now.
Yeah.
Same with Kevin Conroy. They bounce around different, they bounce around different Batman sometimes too. But definitely give them credit for that. And I can't remember her name, but there's an actual woman who, like, she's the person who finds all the voice actors and stuff.
God, it's the voice director. Oh, I should know her name.
Yeah, I'm so mad at myself right now.
I'm looking it up right now. Because she is one of, I consider her one of the best voice directors, because I think it's Andrea Romano. Okay, Batman.
Yeah, Andrea Romano. There we go.
Okay, yeah, because not only that, she's done voice voice directing work for the Batman animated series. She's done it for Avatar, Justice League, Korra. Like, she's awesome. Like, she just knows how to do it.
Yeah. So no, I was, because it's funny, because I've always known her name at the back of my mind, but you know how these things go. When you actually need to pull it out, that's when it's. But yeah, shout out to Andrea Romano for doing an amazing job with this. But we're going off track right now. Nice trailer, not a lot of info released. It's called Shattered Alliances Part 1. So I'm expecting a second trailer to potentially give us more information. One thing that has me curious about the story is that, like, Darkseid is a pre-order bonus character. So I wonder if, he's just going to be on the side, or if the new gods are going to play a part in this game's story. That's one thing I was really hoping the new gods made it into Injustice 1, but, they didn't, and it made sense. They wouldn't have really fit in the entire, in the scheme of the story, but I'm hoping that the new gods, because that's one area of the DC universe that hasn't been touched on enough. Like, everyone knows Darkseid. Well, most people know Darkseid, but like Orion and Big Barda and the Infinity what are they called again? The Forever people. I'd like to see some of them get some time in the spotlight. If nothing else, the new gods being introduced would make for some really cool stages. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then on moving on, we've got Mass Effect, which we finally get a trailer showing us we get a trailer showing us like combat profiles and stuff. I really want to get your opinion on this stuff, because one of my friends, he's like an old school Mass Effect fan, and he wasn't impressed. He felt like they're dumbing down the combats and stuff. But I liked it. But then again, the last Mass Effect I played was Mass Effect 1, and the combat in Mass Effect 1 was terrible.
Honestly,
so
I disagree. I disagree with that statement, because
Wait, which statement? That Mass Effect 1's combat was
No, no,
terrible?
no, not that. More, it's more about the dumbing down. I don't really think it's dumbing down. I think it's just them implementing a different system, and I could see some people who like they really liked the class system. You know, they liked how it was like when you they liked in a weird way you had to play the game very differently. You know, when you picked the class, you had to play the game very differently if you were an infiltrator. You had to play the game very differently if you were a vanguard. Because I know this because I played Mass Effect 2. I beat it 3 times, and I beat it as a soldier, vanguard, and an infiltrator. So I know for a fact that these the games felt different from which class you played. And I don't think that's necessarily removed. What they've done is that they've given you more options and abilities to choose your play style, and being able to switch on the fly. Now I can understand where some people might think that might be overpowered to switch from like a long-ranged infiltrator class to a soldier class on the fly, and I get that, but honestly, it just looks more fun. Like I feel like the movement in that game, the fact that you can sort of dash around with the jetpack, fly, do biotic charges, turn invisible, it's kind of like limit breaking, you know, like you're just breaking off the limits of like your abilities, and you can just use everything. And I find that it's not really dumbing down. If anything, it's adding more options of playability. Because there's only so many things you could do as an infiltrator in Mass Effect 2. Because most of the time you would have your sniper rifle, you'd go invisible, pop some hit shots, and then when they started rushing you, you'd pull out your pistol and start shooting and running to another position, turn invisible, rinse and repeat, right? Mm-hmm. So with this, at the very least, if I want to be a super crazy sniper, I can do that, and then if the battle changes, I can switch to a different playstyle on the fly. So I don't think it's really dumbing down. I think it's a cool little feature. And honestly, if you really want to stick with the class system, you can just stick with one of the class options. You know, it's not like there's anything really stopping you. So I think it's actually really, really cool. I liked all the little combos that they were showing with your teammates and stuff like that. It was just I'm really excited.
How she sets up, and then Cora just comes out from nowhere and just like it just knocks him down. Yeah, it was pretty cool. One cool thing about the trailer that they showed all 6 squad mates. Yeah, we've seen all 6 squad mates for the. I think we finally know. Because there was a bit of confusion with that, with a couple of the trailers. At least for me, I wasn't sure who was a squad mate and who wasn't. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's Cora, who's the chick that looks like what's her name from House of Cards. Vetra, and you were right. When they showed her full body, then you can definitely see that it's a female.
Female Turian.
Turian, thank you. Drac, who's your usual Krogan. Yeah. Liam, who's your token black guy. Phoebe, your biotic specialist, and Jal, who's a completely new race, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's a completely new race of the series. I have not seen this race at all in the entire series.
But yeah, fun stuff. I'm liking it. And this is coming from someone who has not hidden his complete dislike of this franchise. I've liked everything I've seen so far of this game. Mm-hmm. The combat trailer looks like a lot of fun. I think exploration is going to be next, so that's going to be exciting. Because when I think of the exploration, quote unquote, in Mass Effect 1, all I can think of are migraines. Like, no joke. I think of myself sitting there in front of my computer getting those Sunday headaches.
Yeah, I'm having a sneaking suspicion that the exploration of the game is probably going to be one of its weaker points, no matter what they do. I could be pleasantly surprised, but what I think they are implying from some of because they showed a little bit of like, next time we're talking about exploration, right? And they showed a couple like really quick like images of stuff.
Yeah.
I have a feeling how exploration is going to probably work is there's probably going to be areas in that game where you can go to a planet, and you can scan it for resources or I'm trying to think of the word. Resources are just like anomalies, and when you find those anomalies, you can land, do a small little mission, and collect some resources and leave. Which I guess isn't really bad because Mass Effect 2 had something similar in which you would go around planets, scan them, and sometimes, not always, but sometimes you would find an anomaly and that would lead to like a small little mission. Now, these little missions weren't exactly anything spectacular, but they were a nice little like, hey, you want to just go on a planet, you shoot some aliens or whatnot, collect some resources and go, right? So it was a nice little thing. I would hope that there's a little bit more than that. As long as collecting resources isn't just probing planets like it was in Mass Effect 2. I like that. That's my biggest fear, because honestly, Mass Effect 3, by just taking out the resource gathering mechanic and making everything money based, I think was fine. Because Mass Effect 1's problem is that there were big drags of areas that you had to collect resources, and like I said, you got migraines from using the Mako all day trying to find shit. And the problem with the probing system in Mass Effect 2 was it's just so goddamn boring, because all you're doing is scanning a little reticle across a planet looking for an anomaly. You send the probe down, you collect some resources, and then you go to the next planet. And to be fair, it was tedious, but at least it was more efficient than resource gathering in Mass Effect 1. So I hope that they have a more interesting system. That's my basic thing with that. But we'll know by hopefully next week. Also, I want to point out, I'm really glad that they're finally starting to give us details about the game, because they were pretty quiet for a while.
I mean, it's not like the game is coming out next month or anything.
Yeah. Like, it's crazy that they were being so quiet for so long, and now we're finally getting a bunch of details. So
yeah.
Hurrah.
No, I'm with you 100%. It's nice that we're finally getting some info. And we shall see. We shall see what the deal is when the game launches. But yeah, last bit of news is Deus Ex, a game that's very close, that has a very special place in Tanner's heart. They released a nice story DLC trailer. Deus Ex: A Criminal Past. So it's a pretty cool looking DLC. It looks like it's one of, because Deus Ex, it's not an open world game, right?
Not really. I would say it's kind of like a single player game with a hub. I would consider it more like that. Like, it has this one hub that allows you to kind of walk around and do a bunch of different things, not necessarily in a specific order, but it is kind of like a linear single player game. Like,
okay, yeah. But the DLC, it does that thing that I don't like DLCs do, and Fallout 3, Operation Anchorage did the same, and The Pit actually did the same thing. Where it's, and I understand why they do it, because it's supposed to like balance things out. And this is me assuming, keep in mind, from the Shouty trailer, but they give him a virus, and I'm assuming the virus locks down his abilities. So like in The Pit and in Operation Anchorage, you get there and they take away all your gear, right? And I understand. I'm guessing that they do it to balance things out, right? But I've never liked it when DLCs do that, because I feel like it's taking, because you've built this character up, right? And you're really excited. You love playing this character. You love playing this specific character this specific way. And then this DLC comes out and it takes away the ability for you to play the game the way you've been playing it this whole time. You get what I mean, right?
Yeah.
But other than that, the DLC looks cool. It's like a cool story. It's like a backstory to an undercover mission that Adam, right? Adam Jensen had a while back, and that one looks like shit hit the fan.
Yeah.
But what do you think about it?
I think it looks pretty cool, and to be honest, some of my favorite moments in the Deus Ex games are prison breaks. whether it be breaking into a prison or breaking out of a prison or a bank heist or something like that. So I could see a lot of really fun potential in like a prison-based story. It's got that one character that looks super badass. It's like that one black guy who's not wearing a shirt and he's got a cool hat. I want to know more about him because he looks super dope.
Yeah, he looks pretty cool. I'm like, is this really a prisoner? He looks like not a prisoner. That's pretty.
Yeah. So I'm excited. Yeah. I'm excited for that. Honestly, like it looks good. I guess for me, when it comes to like losing the abilities of it depends. It depends on how long. And honestly, I don't think this DLC is. I don't think it's meant. I don't think the DLC is going to be necessarily a bad thing that you're going to be losing a lot of your abilities, because part of the problem, I guess, with Deus Ex is that sometimes you just rely on the same abilities over and over again, right? So I could kind of see maybe this will it will make stealth a little bit more exciting, because honestly, Deus Ex has a similar problem in which, similar, I guess you could argue, that XCOM 2 has, in which the game feels a lot harder in the beginning than the end to a certain extent, because you have so many crazy-ass abilities that you can just exploit shit. Like, by the end of the game, by the point where I was at, I had my stealth, like, fully upgraded, I was ready to go, and I could just stealth my way past encounters. I could hack almost every single door. I was good to go. Like, I was good to go as far as like getting through stealth encounters. So it might be kind of interesting to have some of that taken away. I don't know. It could be cool, or it could just be annoying. Honestly, the thing about this DLC is that I know that I'm not going to be playing it at launch. Well, technically it already came out. But because the thing about, like, people know that with Deus Ex, I had this really shitty experience in which my save file got corrupted and I lost about, I want to say, 4 hours of gameplay. And probably even more than that now I think about it. So honestly, this might be, I'm thinking as far as this goes, for me, I'm probably going to pick up all the DLC in the summer when I'm not playing that much, and that will be my time to revisit, Deus Ex and give it another shot. Because I really do like this game. I think it was one of the better games to come out last year, and it just unfortunately had some problems with other things, it had problems with the pre-order debacle. There was that. There was, unfortunately, apparently the PC version was very buggy at launch, which I find a little bit weird, because it's not like an amazingly enormous game like Fallout. Like with Fallout or Skyrim, you can understand that, okay, there's going to be some bugs because the game is just enormous, Whereas with this game, I was like, why is there bugs? Like, there really shouldn't be save-destroying bugs in this game.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, but honestly, I'm still really excited. I don't see myself playing it right away. This is something that I'm probably going to be like, all right, cool, I'm glad it's come out, and I'm going to probably blitz through it all during the summer. That's kind of like my opinion on it, really.
Yeah. So, to wrap up, we got a question of the day from the lovely J Streets. And J Streets' question goes, who is the spiciest meme lord?
Shut up.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. He asks, what is your favorite video game rivalry? Also, when will we see Tanner's video for his contest loss? So, I'm going to tackle the first one.
Yeah,
and I'll let Tanner tackle the second one. So, me personally, my favorite rivalry is probably Scorpion and Sub-Zero. It was really cool, back in the day. I always liked Scorpion. I'm not entirely sure why, but the story behind them, Scorpion challenges Sub-Zero and then he loses to Sub-Zero. He dies. He gets sent to the underworld. I think he comes back and he kills the older Sub-Zero, and then the younger Sub-Zero is the one who we're currently dealing with now, because I think there were two Sub-Zeros at one point. But I've always liked the story behind Scorpion and Sub-Zero. And unlike the other rivalry, Ryu and Ken, there's actual animosity here,
Mm-hmm.
and they actually go back and forth because I was deciding between picking Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and Ryu and Ken. And the issue with Ryu and Ken is that, first of all, Ryu is just better than Ken.
Yeah.
Ryu is just better than Ken. He always beats Ken. He's one of the best fighters in the Street Fighter universe, you know? But then the second one, that there's no animosity there. It's like an actual, it's a playful rivalry. And it's cool, I love how, I think in Street Fighter Alpha, if you picked Ryu and Ken, the opening was Ken putting Ryu in a noogie, and then Ryu throws him away, and he does a backflip, and they start fighting. So I've always liked cool interactions like that. But hands down, Scorpion and Sub-Zero. It's it's really cool. There's a lot of drama there, and I like it. I really like it. But what about you, Tanner?
I'm gonna go with Star Fox and Falco. I really like their rivalry a lot because you see it in the games. It is sort of it is more of a friendly rivalry, but I mostly like it because I read a really cool comic back in the day that had to deal with Falco falling out with Star Fox, and just shit going down, and them having to face each other, and there's this really amazing dogfight in space that they have against each other. And surprisingly, this comic leads into Star Fox Adventures, which honestly, most people have pointed out that this comic is better. It's better than Star Fox Adventures in every way possible. So, honestly, I really like Star Fox and Falco, and I guess you could also argue that there is a rivalry between Star Fox and Wolf in the games as well. That is also another really, really cool one. Honestly, I'm thinking about these ones in particular, because I've recently rewatched Fox in Space, which is one of the best independent animated things I've ever seen. Have you heard of Fox in Space?
Nope.
Okay, so after this podcast, you need to watch Fox in Space. So imagine somebody said, you know what? Let's take Star Fox, right? But let's make it like an 80s style, maybe 80s, early 90s cartoon, but it's super serious, and it feels like Cowboy Bebop.
Ooh.
It's super dope. It is awesome, and I love it. And the next episode is supposedly going to be coming out this year, and it took almost a year to animate. So I'm really excited for that, and that's part of the reason. Because in that show in particular, I know it's kind of like a spin-off, alternate universe. The relationship between Fox and Wolf, and the relationship between Fox and Falco is really, really interesting. So, yeah, I guess that would be my answer. I really like that. Star Fox, Falco, or Star Fox and Wolf.
Okay.
I guess I just like Star Fox.
Well, yeah, Tanner, you haven't answered the other question.
Well, I've decided that once we hit 1 million subscribers... No. Basically, for the second question, J Street's asks, also, when will we see Tanner's video for his content loss? So basically, I want to post the video, but I want it to be something. I want it to be good. I want it to be a good, painful experience for me. And the thing is that I kind of want to film something with Fawwaz. Actually, in the same room, because we're talking with each other over Skype, and the problem with that is that Fawwaz lives very, very far away.
Yep.
And I kind of want to do that. I could also just post myself playing just random online matches, or I could do what my more interesting idea, which I thought, hey, I never actually played the story mode of Street Fighter V. Maybe I should do that just for some lulz, and maybe it'll be a little less painful because I get to enjoy the cutscenes.
Enjoy is a strong word.
Enjoy is a strong word. Hey, listen, I enjoyed the cutscenes in Bayonetta, so...
You know what? Yeah, we have very different standards when it comes to, quality. But
you see, I can enjoy something for being bad. That's the thing.
Yes.
I can get a kick out of that.
The whole so bad it's good thing is completely lost on me.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? That makes no sense. Okay, it makes some sense, but whatever.
But yeah.
Yeah, I guess I need to re-download Street Fighter 5 because I had to delete it to make space for Bloodborne, and I was like, all right, well.
Well, honestly, I want to do that. Like maybe sometime in the future. Obviously, when Fawwaz is a little less busy and I have a day off, I can just invite him over, or I can come to him, whichever one works, and we can just record. We can record him just beating the shit out of me in Street Fighter 5 or some story content. It could be we can get something out of it. I think we could make something. But that is definitely on the horizon. It's mostly just been like it's mostly been time constraints, unfortunately, because like Fawwaz is busy with his school and I've been busy with my job, and it's just been like really really difficult to actually come up with this content. But we are aware. We haven't forgotten about it. I sure haven't forgotten about it. But we will try and post it hopefully in the near future. I don't know how that's going to happen now that I think about it, because the near future is March. And me and Time as three of my most hyped up games of this year come out at once is not going to be... Oh boy.
Yeah, March is gonna be fun.
Yeah, but yeah, no, we are gonna think about doing something for sure. But great question, Jay Streets. Keep them up. We're always happy to hear it. And if you've got a question for us, make sure to leave it in the comment section, and we'll make sure to answer it in the next podcast. And as always, this was your host, William Liberty, and
Fawwaz Muhammad Yusuf.
See you guys next time. Take care.